Hello, everyone. We're here with Lorrie Garcia, who is one of the exhibiting artists at the Santera Images of Faith and Folklore featured at the Harwood Museum. This exhibition is co-curated by Gustavo Victor Goler and Harwood curator Nicole Ashley Dial-Kay. Tell me, Lorrie, where were you raised and where do you live now?
I was raised in Colorado. I was born in Colorado, but I was raised in Penasco, and I've been a lifelong resident of Penasco.
And you were an educator in Penasco, is that correct?
I was a high school teacher for 25 years, various subjects.
Right. You kind of have to do that in Penasco, I imagine. How many years have you been an artist and how did you become an artist?
Professionally, I've been an artist for 20 years. But looking back, I've been an artist my whole life. When I became a professional artist, I kind of fell into it just before we retired from a teaching career, both my husband and I. And we took a furniture making class that taught carving. And I learned how to carve, and I loved it passionately. And that's when I decided I wanted to do it. And I wasn't doing it to become an artist. I was doing it because I just loved to carve. And then someone told me, well, you should check into Spanish market and be a Santera. So I took a bulto making class and I juried into Spanish market. And I think I was really lucky. And fortunately, I didn't know that Spanish market was such a big deal at the time when I juried in. So right. I was really lucky to get in.
Right. Who taught you how to carve?
J.D. Martinez.
Oh, I remember J.D.
Yeah.
He's the one though, right?
Yeah. He's the one that did the bulto class, but I learned to carve from a former student. His name is Daniel Tafoya. And they offered the course to teachers at the high school where I was teaching. So I learned to carve from Daniel, and then I learned a little bit about bulto making from J.D. Martinez.
Oh, that's great. That's really great. Was anyone in your family an artist?
In the past, I have a grandmother who is a famous weaver. She was in the latter part of the 1800s, and she died in 1922. But she has worked in the Smithsonian and most of the museums in New Mexico. Her name was Patricia Montoya Roybal, and a famous Rio Grande weaver.
Yeah, I think you showed me, you have some of her weavings, right?
I do, yeah. I'm collecting as much as I can. 50 in circulation, and I own 3.
Would you say that she was someone who influenced your artwork, or is there someone that you kind of followed when it came to the making of santos? Was there someone that you that sort of influenced your style?
I think it's been a lifelong thing for me. I was born and raised a Catholic, and we have several churches in Penasco. There's a mother church and there's 8 mission churches. And when I was growing up, they had masses in each mission church at least once a month. And my parents always took us to mass. There's a lot of old artwork there, and I didn't know at the time who the artists were, but I was always fascinated by it and studying them and asking questions about them. So I think I was influenced by that initially.
Yeah, a lot of the historical work.
A lot of historical work.
Mm-hmm. Would you consider yourself more a painter or a carver? And do you explore any other different mediums or techniques in the cultural arts of New Mexico?
Initially I started out more of a carver. And at this point, I think I'm more of a painter. And it's really, I still love to carve. I think it's still more of a passion than painting is. but my age, yeah, there's
Right.
limitations. It's strenuous work. It's
Carving is
strenuous.
hard.
Yeah, I'm looking at your piece there, and
Yeah.
I'm thinking, wow, that's pretty awesome. But I would carve more if my body weren't telling me, okay, take a break, go
Yeah.
paint, do
No, I
something.
think, we all probably reach, that point in our lives where our work takes turns, and changes in different ways, so long as we keep plugging away at our artistic outlet. Can you describe your work and kind of your thought process? What kind of motivates you to create a piece? Do you sketch it? Do you do research?
I do research, not as much now as I did in the past because a lot of it is repetitive now. But I use my art to interpret my spirituality, to interpret and share my spirituality. And that's what I want the viewer to see in my work, even more than the technical aspects of my work, although that's important too. But I concentrate when I'm painting, I concentrate a lot on the eyes. And I think that's what gives, if I do it successfully, that's what gives it that feel, that I
Yeah.
want the viewer to feel on the spiritual aspect of it. And my work most of the time is a labor of love. I love what I do. I love why I do it. I love sharing my work with others, and I love knowing the fact that my work is valued. I guess we all need to have that to continue as an artist. Um, as far as the technical aspects of my work are concerned, I do a lot of detail work, and I was thinking about that. Well, why do I do so much detail work? And I think I do it to honor the subject that I'm working on. That's kind of like presentation of it is important to me. So, and it also serves as getting into the flow of what I'm doing. It's kind of a meditative thing while I'm working and I'm doing repetitive work. It's kind of a prayer
Yeah.
for me.
Very sort of spiritual approach to your work in many ways. Do you have like a memorable project or maybe a memorable award that is important to you that sort of sticks out as one of your big projects in your career?
Well, I think one of the pieces that I'm most proud of, it was called Pescador de Hombres, which is Fisher of Men. And it depicted, it was a carving of Jesus calling Peter and Andrew to follow him, Fisher of
Yeah.
Men. And it got the Archbishop's Award, which is really important to me. I've gotten that twice. And to me, that award is kind of, it's everything that I hope to project in my work, because it's the religious Catholic part of it. But that particular piece went to a seminary, and it was done in 2009, which was the year of the priest. So it's like serendipitous, everything kind of like worked out. And the only thing about that piece is that I wish I hadn't have sold that. Sometimes I reserve a piece because someone in my family likes it and we want to keep it. But I sold that piece, but it did go to the right person. So
Yeah, well, it sounds like it serves a purpose, right, in a specific place. So I know that you have won many awards throughout your career. How many years have you been in Spanish market?
2001, so 19.
19 years. All right, that's pretty good. Is there anything else you would like to say, either about your work or yourself, that just represents you in a certain way as maybe a female artist among a lot of male carvers, or How do you feel? Has it been hard or is it easy? I mean, your work is wonderful, so I imagine that you feel that you're doing a great job.
Well, I look at it as a gift. I really do feel like it's a gift. And at first I was shy about calling myself an artist. And then I thought to myself, well, this isn't really about me anyway. It's a gift. And if I use it wisely and I ask for guidance, and making sure that I'm doing it for the right reason. But for me, it's a gift.
Just one final question that I forgot to ask you earlier, and that is, do you consider yourself an artist or a santera? Or
I
both?
consider myself an artist santera or a santera artist because doing this kind of work, you do it yourself. It entails so much technical skill, and it just the medium that we use, that making our pigments and making our gesso and preparing your board. It's a long process, so you have to be an artist as well. I don't want to say that I'm just one or the other. Hopefully people see me as an artist as well as a santera.